This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning, everyone. You see, according to the Chakira we had before, that if somebody went to the bathroom twice, they have to make 2 Asher Yatzars. Let's say you have 2 Mishna Beruras in one day. Do you have to say good morning in front of every Shiur? L'chayra, according to the conclusion of the Mishna Berura, every Shiur requires a new, a separate good morning. Okay, so we're now learning Siman Ches. Let's see Sif Beis. We began Hilchos Tzitzis. Seder Atifasai. The arrangement of wrapping the tzitzis kederech b'nei Adam shemiskasim b'chsusam v'oiskim b'malachtim. It's like the derech of people that cover themselves in their cloak while they are busy in their work. Sometimes their head is covered, sometimes their head is uncovered. It is correct to cover your head in the TALLIS. What does that mean? It is correct. When is it correct? Why is it correct? So, right now we're uncommitted. Are we talking about the TALLIS Katan? Are we talking about the TALLIS Gadol? But the way of wrapping seems to be the way people used to conduct themselves when they worked. Sometimes their head was covered, sometimes not. Now, says Mishna Berura, even though the bracha is to wrap yourself, so why would the Mechaber say sometimes begilei harosh? What kind of ituf is it if your head is uncovered? Kisoy haguf l'chudei hava ituf v'hu ikar ha ituf. The covering of the body itself is the wrapping, and that's the main wrapping. So I believe that means that when you do wrap yourself and you do the atifa before you put on the Tallis Gadol, many people, they're meshalshel, in other words, they flick it behind them, and the Tallis in the back is only covering the head down to the neck, and they don't wrap their guf at all, and they are not fulfilling the ikar ituf. The Mishna Berura says the ikar ituf is ituf haguf. That means that the Tallis needs to cover the top of the shoulders and part of the top of the back as well, because otherwise you're only doing atifas harosh, you're not doing atifas haguf. Va'oivrei drachim shemanichin atalis kishuhu mekupol. Wayfarers, that they leave the talis when it's folded, and they just hang down the talis on their neck, on their shoulders. They are not fulfilling the mitzvah of tzitzis. So in other words, if you're wearing your talis like a scarf, you keep it basically all folded up, and you're wearing it like a scarf, and you could get a job in one of the other denominations of Judaism, maybe as then you're not yotzei the mitzvah of tzitzis. Why? Because it's ituf harosh and not ituf haguf. Sif beis batalis. It is correct to cover your head with the talis. Why? Shekisoizeh machnia lev adam. Covering your head humbles the heart. Umavilu lidei yira shamayim, and brings to the fear of God. Va'ayin betaz. Shadaitoi denachan shaloi yaser hakoy v'hakatan sha'aroishay beisat tefila avshu mechas haroishay ba'talis gamkein. The Taz is of the opinion, don't take off your yarmulke just because you are wearing Tallis Gadol over your head, because it seems like both are accomplish something. Because of Abach, the opinion of the Bach is one should wear the talis on their head from the beginning of davening until the end. At the very least, you should keep your head wrapped the amount of time it takes to walk Dalet Amos. Now, when the Bach says you should wear the talis on your head from the beginning of davening until end, does he mean from the beginning of Shemona Esrei until the end of Shemona Esrei? Does he mean from the beginning of Adonai Olam until the end of the Yom? So, I think this requires actually a shiur unto itself. There are a lot of different opinions. Interestingly, in the yeshiva where I learned, the minhag was not to keep your head covered with the talis for the whole davening. I think only from Berchas Kriya Shema, Shemona Esrei, maybe Tachnan as well, and that's it. But that was more like a slabotka practice of not to be medaktek on chitzonios. But according to the Bach, it seems like al pi the poskim, it is considered proper to cover your head in the talis throughout. We should discuss that in length on another occasion. Because of the kavanos, it says in the kavanos of the Ari, Harizal hayamachazadalas al tefillin shel roish, that the Ari covered not only his head, but the tefillin shel roish as well. Va'ayin Seif Siman chav zayin da'al kapanim lo yichasa legamri. Look at the end of Seif Siman chav zayin, that don't cover the tefillin shel roish completely. The Shulchan Aruch says that in Siman chav zayin Sif Yud Aleph, that it's toiv that the tefillin shel roish should be a little bit apparent. And the Mishna Berura says, because it says, V'ro kol amei ha'aretz. He quotes over here from the Matzos HaShekel that you should cover the tefillin with the talis like a roof, so that the tefillin should be apparent from someone in front of you. In other words, it doesn't mean you cover it and nobody knows you're wearing tefillin. It means there's like sort of an angle so that somebody in front of you could see your tefillin. He does bring that the Mishna Berura brings later on in Siman Tzadi Aleph from the Prima Gadim that your whole face, your head should be covered ad einav with the talis. But let's see when we get over there. Fine. Now the Mishna Berura gives us some direction regarding how to make an atifa with the talis. B'shas atifa mechase roishe b'hatalis ad sheyagia ad piv. When you make the atifa, you cover your head in the talis until it reaches your mouth. So I remember my Rav Pinchas Breuer Shlita, when I became a chassan, I asked him to show me how to do an atifa. So he said, you take the talis shel roish, put it down to your mouth, and let it be like in between the two lips. Put it in between the two lips, so it should be medaktik ad piv. That's how he showed me how to do it. I don't know if that's what the Mishna Berura is saying. The Mishna Berura is just saying it should be ad piv, but if you want to measure, you don't have to actually put it in the inside of your mouth. You don't have to swallow pieces of your tongue. It means, just you keep it dry. But then, umashlich kol arba tzitziosas litzad smile. You should throw the four corners to the left side, and you stay that way kidei hiluch dalet amos. To the left side. So what difference does it make? Only if you want to do it right. So if you want to do it right, you throw it to the left side. And you stay that way a few seconds. Don't be in a rush. Then you remove the atifa until the shel roish is seen a little bit v'chanal. Now, what about the people that do the left side, the right side, and they're slugging kaparas and they're hitting people? Look, if they have a cheshbon why the guy behind them is chayiv malchus, that's I can't get involved in that. But you'd only do it once to the left side. My great grandmother told me to the right side 4 times, to the left side twice, spin around. No. So you could tell her you did that, but you don't have to actually do that. That is not part of the atifa. Now, the Mishna Berura continues. Then you position all the tzitzis in its correct place. By doing this, you yotze all the opinions. Not like some people, they pull the talis on themselves. So basically, they put themselves in the talis so they could look like a ghost, because they want to scare the rabbi or something. No. You put it ad piv, not mamish. You wrap yourself in the talis so that the the guy isn't shul should think like some kind of, goylem is made it to shul, to be mekayim the shita, the chacham tzvi, that you're mitzdaref for goylem to the minyan. No, you have to put the talis only ad piv. Dezeu eino nikra atifa. Wrapping the talis like the goylem of Prague is not considered an atifa. Ayin b'mayikatan chavdalet omanaf. Masha b'gemara, shabachar lo'hoyim mechasa roisha b'talis, afilu talmid chacham. I guess this is for those yakis who they put on a talis, or maybe even for a bachar who's davening for the amud. So maybe the bachar then would wear his hat, but would not wrap the talis around his head, even if he's a Talmid Chacham. The Dirshu points out from here it's mashma like the yekis, that you wear a talis even before you're married. Later on in Siman Yud Zayin Sivkaton Yud, he brings the opinion of the Maril that boys don't wear a talis until they get married, and the Mishna Berura is matmiya. What about the mitzvah of tzitzis? And we'll see how the Mishna Berura addresses that. Fine. Sif Gimel, very quickly. Talisos ketanim shalanu sha'anu noigim lilbosh. Our talis katans, that it's our minhag to wear. Afal pi she'ein bahem ituf. Even though we're not wrapping with them. So you say, so what are we mekayim? We're not wrapping. Yoitzin bahem idei chavas tzitzis. You're yoitzin the chiv of tzitzis. V'toiv la'aniach oisai al roishai. But nevertheless, it's good to place it on your head. Rachboi lekamasai. The width to your height. Wrap yourself with it. Stand that way, wrapped. And then you pull it from off your head and you don it. So the Mechaber seems to be saying that even a talis katan, you should do ituf. Says the Mishna Berura, talisois ketanim, there is a minimum shiur that your talis katan has to be. Don't say, well, I wear a talis katan, I'll take my 3-year-old's talis katan with his designer fireman or Uncle Moshe talis with the glue, the red glue, or his Batman talis, I don't know what he has on it, and you're going to say, I'm going to wear it, it's much more comfortable. It comes like an inch below my neck. It has to be something that a 9-year-old would cover his head and his majority. We'll see what that is. And a 13-year-old would not be embarrassed to occasionally go out that way. We'll see in Sim Tazayin. Ayin Sham Mishna Berura. Nowadays, kol ksus shalanu. All of our garments, derech kisoyhem, are a manner of covering. V'ituf loy ramiza ba'iraisa. In other words, nowadays, all of our coverings are derech kisoy. In other words, the Mechaber is bothered by a kasha. The Mishna Berura is bothered by a kasha. How are you yotze with a talis katan, but we're not doing an ituf? The answer is, it doesn't say in the Torah you have to do an ituf, and the clothing that we wear are derech kisoy, so you're yotze. But it's better to do an ituf and stand that way, me'utaf, in order to be yotze, those who hold, lotzei snami das asarim, to be ina dafka ituf. V'nir da'anoigin shloi levarich klal al talis katan, those, that's us, who the minhag is not to make a bracha at all on the talis katan. Rak poitrin ois berachas hatalis gadol, ein tzarich klal lehesatef by. So that's the psak in the Mishna Berura, that for those who don't make a bracha on the talis katan, then the yotze of talis gadol, you don't have to do an ituf on the talis katan. V'ayin b'magen avram u'beber hagra. And then the Mechaber says, walk with it me'utav da'at amos, and then you could pull it off your head. The ikar hakapeda be'es halavisha, the ikar ituf, and the ikar that your ma'atif roishai is at the time you put it on, but not later. Okay, so we'll remain on schedule. The next time we meet in person will be, Be'ez Hashem, Thursday. We'll finish this daf, and in the meantime, have a wonderful next couple days. And we'll see you Thursday. Again, so we were already a day ahead. We did 2 days today. And Thursday we'll be on track. Okay, everyone? Bracha v'atzlacha. Have a great day. Kol tov.
How much is the shiur today?
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.